Are we? Hello and welcome. Welcome, Julia and Elana, to Tune In with Talya. And it's so good to be with you guys. I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties just getting here, but we made it. Anyway, welcome. We made it. So how have you been?
First of all, that was such a beautiful intro to the show.
Oh,
just loved that.
it was fun, right? Good
vibes. Yeah, good vibes. I feel inspired.
Good.
We're just trying to parent and work at the same time in the same space, and it is intense.
Yeah,
right.
True. Our baby is crawling under the table right now.
Yeah, she's gonna make an appearance. In a minute, when we sing, she'll be chill, but she's not.
Oh, good. I hope that she can join you guys.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know what I love about this whole show that I created? That I get to connect with old friends and meet new friends. And it's just a way to connect during a time where it's hard to be connected. So this is a real treat for me to be with you.
For me too, and for us too. It's so sweet to be able to connect. We go way back, and we don't have nearly enough time together, but it's one of those friendships where we're instantly back in the zone.
I know, I was thinking today, a lot of memories that I have with you, and all of my memories around singing in high school have been with you. A lot of them have been choir and voice lessons at Hart School of Music, and choraliers, and singing in your car on the way to school, Mariah Carey.
Ooh, Mariah Carey, let's go.
Mariah Carey is
right? Do you remember that? You always be my baby.
We would just blast it of my Toyota Corolla.
Yes.
We did not have a really sexy sound system, but we did blast it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Blast it while you got it.
Exactly. So yeah, we grew up in West Harvard. We grew up right down the block from each other, right? A few blocks away.
Around the corner.
We had a lot of fun, great memories.
And our parents are still there.
Yeah, I know. It's nice. Nice to go back in time and remember all those good memories.
Have you been back in West Hartford recently, Talya?
I went back actually last 2 weekends ago, and it's so good to be back. Although it's weird because you can't really hug people, and we're staying very safe and careful.
Yeah. Here's Acadia.
Hi, Acadia. Acadia is 1, right? She turned 1.
She just turned 1.
She did.
Hi, cutie pie.
I think if we sing, she's gonna be really chill.
Yes. So we should sing together because it's been so long that we have sung together. It's been a long time.
So long. Years.
And I think
when was the concert that you guys did together in Brooklyn?
That was
maybe 3 years ago, right?
I feel like
maybe
it's
4. Maybe
4. Yeah,
Mine
that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do it.
So yeah, we're gonna sing also a song. This song is a well-known Jewish song, and it's welcoming peace into the world. And so what we need right now is a lot of peace. We always need peace, but especially during these times, we need to feel harmony in our hearts and with everybody around us. And though we are separate, we are together, and we are all together in this. And so I think by singing this song, Oseh Shalom, and this version by Debbie Friedman, we should welcome in peace. And all of you who know this song, please sing in your own homes and join in with us too. Beautiful finish, Acadia. That was beautiful.
Strong finish, Acadia.
She keeps it noisy, is what she
Does.
So
That
now,
was beautiful. I love the way your voices blend together, by the way, because
Thank
there's
you.
just such a beautiful harmony and sound that the two of you make together. It's beautiful.
well, we love to sing together, and I'm gonna put this baby to
Okay.
to bed.
Oh, okay.
She's too loud.
You're
and
too
we can
loud,
talk
baby.
about being working moms and how hard it is.
We can. Okay, we'll come back when she goes to sleep. Good night, Acadia. Sweet dreams. Thanks for singing with us.
Bye.
Bye.
She actually, her new thing right now is that she can say hi and bye, but she usually says it backwards. So we're
Y'all.
like, hi. She's like, bye.
Bye. So cute.
So cute.
So
It's
cute.
great to hear your voice, Talya.
Oh, thank
We're
you.
able to play together. So
I
beautiful.
know. This is the closest way that we can right now.
I know.
So you know what song that you wrote, which you're a beautiful songwriter, and
Thank you.
your music is known all around our community and the world now, and your music really lifts me and really helps to heal and heal what I'm going through. And so one of the songs that I love listening to so many, and one of them that's been helping me through this time is the song Nachamu, Comfort Us. It's such a comforting, beautiful song that you wrote.
Thank you.
And so I just wanted to tell you that because
Thank
it's
you
been
so
bringing me
much.
a lot of support and comfort.
I'm so glad. That's like, when you write music, that's like the highest possible compliment that it could be. Helping anyone in even a small way at any time really makes a big difference. And especially now I feel that with the music that I love and listen to, that, you really feel like, oh, those people are like holding me in this time. So
Yes.
I'm glad to be able to do that a little bit. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. What would we do without music and artists and people that inspire us, right?
Yeah. I mean, somebody was sending around a little meme thing at the beginning of the pandemic that was kind of like, don't forget that like the things that are getting us through this time are like, the music and the great, movies and the great shows and the great books, like the ways that we escape from, our current reality into sort of more expansive, more open worlds are like so critical right now. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel really grateful to get to do that a little bit. And I don't think I personally would be able to make it through this time without getting to make music and also receive from other people.
So you've been making a lot of music during this time from home, mostly. That's what you've been doing.
Yes, this is our dining room that we're in right now. I'll show you that. Let's see if I can do this. So on this side you have like the microphones and the sound stuff, but on the other side we have like a puzzle. I don't know if you can see that. You've got like all the gear. So yeah, it's a little crazy in here, but because we have this setup now of our dining room is like a studio now.
Hey, and you guys are in Brooklyn, so you're in a smaller apartment.
We're in a smaller apartment. Yeah, we're in Brooklyn, exactly. And we're very lucky that we have this room that we don't use very much anyway. And it's worked out fine. But yeah, I think in the ways that we're able to make music right now, we've been lucky to be able to make it a lot. I primarily, in non-pandemic times, I primarily travel to do my work. So like I'm a visiting artist in residence for congregations all around the country, and I really love that part of. I mean, traveling is whatever. It's hard. It's traveling, but I love to be able to be with new communities and just meet people from all over the country and sort of see what Judaism looks like in El Paso, Texas, and what does it look like in Nashville, and what does it look like in Colorado, and so my work has really, really changed dramatically in this time because of that. Obviously, I'm not traveling at all, and so I'm very lucky for this technology that enables me to still be in community with congregations around the country, but to do it in this virtual format. And we've had a lot of tech to learn, as I know you have too.
That's a learning curve.
Serious learning curve, and as you heard earlier, just we have two daughters actually. Acadia, who you just saw, just turned 1, and then our older daughter Maya is 7.5. And it's just the reality. I think whether you're an artist or not, just being home, trying to work with your children, and making sure that they're sustained and nourished in the way that they need to be in this bizarre time. It's a lot of juggling. So I'll say about Julia while she's gone that I feel grateful that we can work in partnership to really try to hold the deal with one side of it while the other person is doing their work, and vice versa.
That's great. The two of you complement each other so well too. She's more like she takes care of cleaning she's very like OCD in her own words.
Yes, OCD in her own words. I would say that's true. We actually had this very sort of funny experience. It wasn't already the pandemic. It must have been just before the pandemic, because this woman came over to our house, so that would just make sense. But through a weird sort of winding path, someone reached out to us to say that they were writing an article about like a relationship, parenting and relationship columnist in the New York Times. This is not something that normally happens to us, but someone through a series of events, they got our names. They were writing an article about differences in the way that same-sex couples and heterosexual couples fight. And we were like, all right, that's cool, So this lady came over to our house. She was wonderful, Christina Karen. She's an amazing writer at the Times. And, we were on the phone. I don't know why I'm thinking over there, but we were on the phone, and she just started asking us general, really lovely, interesting questions about our relationship and what kinds of conflicts we have and whatever. And it was so funny, like when this article came out, people who are really good at their jobs, they get right to it. So I was like, I don't know, that was kind of random. We told a bunch of weird random stories. Like, I hope we don't come off sounding like whatever, like it's hard to talk about your fighting or whatever. Anyway, she definitely got right to the crux of it. The main frame of the story was about Julia putting a hat of mine away because she's a neat freak in a way that crushed my hat, and I got very, very mad about it. And so now most people who've seen that article will always make jokes if I'm wearing a hat around, like, oh, don't touch her hat, like, But yes, she keeps our house really clean and nice, and as much as I make fun of her for that, like when you're home all the time, like we are right now, I'm really grateful for it. It's quite nice, actually.
Yes, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, it's good. And I've been doing the sort of pandemic cooking.
Something went on.
How's that? Is that better?
That's better. Yeah. There's a bit of an echo that came in. That's okay.
Okay. I've been doing the like the pandemic cooking, that's been my job.
So what have you been making? What are your dishes?
What are the dishes? Here she comes. I told her
that
all
was
the
fast.
hot goss.
You told her the hot goss?
I did.
That was the fastest bedtime I've ever witnessed. My gosh.
I mean, she might start crying. Her bedroom is right behind this wall, so you'll hear her.
Okay.
She's definitely not asleep. I just really had a need for her to be in the crib.
Yeah, so that's what we
Good.
did.
We're so glad that you're back.
We are glad.
I'm so glad too. What did I miss?
I was talking about, we were talking a little bit about like the Times article and like you being like so neat. And I was saying how much I appreciated it, right, Talya? Didn't I say that?
You were complimenting and you were praising. It was all, yeah.
She wasn't even here.
I know.
And you know what? It's
Lots of good. Your ears should have been burning.
Yeah.
I'm so honored.
Yeah. What I said we're talking about our pandemic cooking. What have you been
Yes.
doing?
Ilana's dishes. What does she make you?
Oh my God, she makes this amazing noodle dish. It's like rice noodles.
Rice noodles, like a Thai dish.
Yummy.
But she makes the sauce. She
You do
makes
from scratch.
Come
the sauce.
on, you guys.
You're
It's
gonna have
like
to share some of those.
peanut lime
Yeah.
situation.
It's like a peanut sauce, but you had to sort of like, it's like citrusy. It's not that fancy. It's like
But
a stir fry with the rice
so
noodles.
Good.
Um,
You should probably publish that recipe.
Yeah, I'll publish it.
Side hustle.
I love Thai food.
Little side hustle.
Are you guys mostly vegetarian? What's your style of eating? It's all different.
Well, I am a pescatarian,
Okay. Yes.
and Elana is.
I eat all types of things, but basically we eat pescatarian here
Right.
because like, what's the point?
Right. I mean, right.
Yeah,
And our baby eats all foods.
yeah. Baby Katia,
She
can eat.
She's a foodie. I heard.
passionate. She's a passionate eater.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. You don't want a picky eater. That's great that you.
No. She's like, it's a
into
wonder. It's a wonder to behold. And nobody can ever believe when like we were with. We've gotten the chance to see both of our parents at various times, depending on timing with the quarantine stuff. And so if they haven't seen her for a little while, and then we put her in the high chair and just kind of like give her whatever, and they're like, "What is she eating? Like olives and lox?" It's like
Like pasta with pesto.
Yeah. She's
Mixes it all.
It's great. It's pretty good. Yeah, she's an omnivore, so that's good.
So that's good.
Good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So the two of you are two spiritual Jewish leaders, strong women that are out there in the world doing your thing and inspiring so many people and lifting up people and giving a lot of people just so much good stuff, love and helping them connect to the higher. And I want to talk to you about what led you to that. What led you to your path? Like what were the influences in your life and how did you get to become, you're a cantor at Central Synagogue, right, in New York City.
Well,
Julia?
thank you for saying that. I grew up loving music since forever, like since I was a baby. If my mom were here, she would say the reason that I am where I am is because she took me to early childhood music classes when I was a baby.
That's true.
I mean, I did end up a professional musician, so hate
Probably
to say
true,
it, but
yeah. She's right.
She might be
She's
right.
Yeah. Shout out Diane.
Diane, yes.
Love you, Mom. I don't know if she's watching, but I still love you, even if you're not watching.
Yeah.
Hi, Diane.
So that part has kind of always been there for me. And then I grew up in the same town as Talya in West Hartford. And I was surrounded by like this beautiful Jewish culture. Like in Talya's family actually was a big part of that for me because I used to have Shabbat dinner at your house. And I loved that. And my family also celebrated some Jewish holidays at home. My dad grew up Jewish, so that was kind of in the air for me. And then I went to college, I studied classical voice, and I thought like my whole plan was to kind of do like an Audra McDonald crossover where I would get a good classical foundation and then I would be a Broadway star, which does sound amazing.
I'm into that, yeah.
I mean,
Totally.
McDonald, who doesn't love that?
Who doesn't love her? She's beautiful.
That's a career path to be like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
you just want to be
Audra McDonald.
We once saw her outside on the street in Provincetown, and we were just like, we were together. We were just speechless
We're like,
for like the next block. Like,
it was like so embarrassing. Not cool. Not cool at all. But she was great.
she was great.
Carry on.
Carry on.
So anyway, so then I graduated from college, and I kind of I had also studied music education, so like I got a teaching job, and I went on a few auditions, and I was getting really nervous about like having an itinerant lifestyle, and something kind of wasn't quite clicking, and I thought about like arts management, because I just really wanted to be in a creative, loving, spiritual community. And I happened to go to a high holiday service that year in Boston, and I had never been to a high holiday service before. I grew up with other things like Passover and Hanukkah, but this was new, which is kind of strange, but that's true. Mm-hmm. And I had a light bulb moment, and I started to picture myself up on the bima, and I went to the Cantor at the synagogue a couple of weeks later, and I told him, I think I want to be a cantor. I just don't know what a cantor is.
Mm-hmm. You're like,
what is a cantor?
Clue me in.
And then I'll do it, yeah.
Tell me what it is, and I'm pretty sure I want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was what happened. He described it to me, and everything that he said, I was like, yes, 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 yes.
Wow.
All of these things. It's music and singing, but it's community, and it's spiritual leadership, and it's teaching, and it kind of checked all my boxes, and I felt like, okay, this is it. It was really like an experience of falling in love. That's what it was like for me. So I had to learn Hebrew from scratch because I didn't know the alphabet. I didn't know anything.
Wow. Learning that as an adult is so much harder too.
So much harder. Wow.
It was tough. It was hard, but I was so motivated because I had my eyes like on where I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And I studied with a rabbi to round out my Jewish knowledge, and then I started cantorial school a couple years after that, and I had 5 amazing years at HUC, Hebrew Union College. I got ordained as a cantor, and then I started working at Central that same year that I graduated.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
How many years have you been there now?
I've been at Central 8 years. I just started my 9th year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
And then you met Elana on the journey, right? You guys met, of course you met on the journey, but like at what point on your journey
did you
guys...
not to be scandalous, but I was Julia's guitar teacher at APC.
That's such a great love story. That's a great love.
It's like, you serenade each other.
Aww.
Things happen.
You learned guitar very well.
Yeah, and I actually had been working at Central for many years before Julia came to be the cantor there. I was playing in the Friday night worship ensemble there, violin and mandolin and some other stuff. And so it was like a beautiful thing that she ended up at Central, and we got to sort of spend some time once we were together as a couple. It's a hard thing when both people are in the same field, like most of the time, if it's Shabbat or it's holidays or whatever, you're like never see each other. But we actually for a while we had that where we were together. So that was a really beautiful
it was amazing.
Thing to make music together and pray together and share a community, and wonderful to, for me as someone who had been there earlier, it was beautiful to watch the community fall in love with Julia and see the impact that she had, knowing kind of what it looked like before and knowing what it looks like now. So that was a very cool thing. And
that's so nice.
Well, we're on camera, so I have to be nice to you.
I know.
Yeah. Don't turn the camera off. You don't want to know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, and the music has, because of the way that we met, and because of that whole part of our relationship, music has always been like a real common language for the two of us. And we'd always love to be able to have opportunities to play together and sing together more than we do, because we're both working in separate careers and stuff. But it's a wonderful thing, and we've been trying to use the time once the children are asleep sometimes to do some singing together and figure out some ways to do more of that.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so who are your influences? What musicians or artists or people in your life that have influenced you?
I think you should answer that first.
Okay.
Okay.
So I primarily work as a singer-songwriter. I'm a composer and a performer, and when I travel to congregations, which is my main work, I'm leading services and giving concerts and teaching and sort of all the things that you would expect someone to do spending a weekend in a synagogue. My musical upbringing was sort of a mixture of my parents were like, classic hippies, so I grew up with like all the best folk music of the 60s, and certainly like someone like Joni Mitchell had left a very big imprint on me in terms of like the music that I listened to most consistently all the way up through college, like and beyond. And in the Jewish realm, like my parents are both, they both work in the Jewish world as well. My dad is a Reform rabbi and was, the director of NIFTY and started Foundation for Jewish Camp and did a million other directed Young Judea. And so I grew up in summer camp, in Jewish summer camp my whole life from the time that I was literally a baby, just as like a staff brat. And my mom is a professor at Hebrew Union College. She was Julia's teacher.
I actually knew Alana's mom first before I knew Elana.
Oh, I had no idea. That's
So
we like to say she was my coolest teacher.
Yeah. You actually have to say that. You
have to say that, and it's lucky that it's also true.
Yeah. So I grew up with like folk music from my parents, but also with like Jewish music from that time. And because my parents are who they are and raised me the way they did, like I had the really amazing privilege to have Debbie Friedman of blessed memory be like a real person in my life, because she was a close friend of my parents. And so she was a major influence on me too. I think musically, and also just sort of in the path that my work has taken. Like I spent the first 10 years out of college working as like a folk singer, like a touring secular folk singer. And at the very beginning, like my very first gigs in New York, like 2004, 2003, Debbie used to come and hear me play in these like, I don't have to tell you, your first gigs in New York, it's like not so good. Like it's like you're in the basement, it's kind of sticky, like that kind of deal. She came to see me in the basement of CBGB's, like the places that don't exist anymore. Anyway, so she used to come hear me play and was like a friend of my family's and like would be very sweet and gracious, and then invariably would sort of pull me aside and be like, Elana, that was nice. Like, when are you going to do something that we could use, write some music for the Jews. And I really, I resisted that for a really long time, and sort of wasn't interested because it's kind of what I grew up with. And you know how you don't sort of, I don't know, I think it's like the thing of everyone in my family is a lawyer, I'm not going to be a lawyer. Like eventually, usually that person does end up being a lawyer, but you have to kind of do other stuff first. And that was kind of where I was too. I just kind of didn't want to do that because that's what my parents did. And ultimately, I found my way back to this path sort of shortly after I met Julia, and was sort of in a time of like seeking and a new mom to Maya, and sort of in that weird soup of like first kid, newborn, who am I? Like, what is this even? Like, what's my life? And I found myself writing a prayer, music to prayer, which I had never done before. I think just out of my own desperation, really, just praying. Yeah. And really that was the beginning of what I'm doing now. And that was, Maya's almost 8, so that was about 8 years ago. So I would say Debbie's been a big influence in my life, and she knew that part of me existed before I did, so I'm really grateful to her for that. And I sometimes, when I'm traveling and I'm telling my stories to people, very often will sort of kind of call Debbie's spirit into that space, because I do sort of feel that I think Julia is much more of a person who tends to feel people's energies that are gone kind of come back, and I believe in that, but I'm not usually attuned in that way. But Debbie is someone that I really do feel that way about. I think because of the work that I do, I just kind of sometimes I'm in spaces that she was in, and I'm doing things that she was doing, and I feel that. So so that's a long answer to your question of who's an influence.
Well, thank you. That was great. She's a wonderful, wonderful singer and songwriter, Debbie. She was just so special. And I met her, and I'm so glad I got the opportunity to meet her as well.
Yeah, just an incredible teacher.
So special. Yeah. And it's really, I agree with Elana, her presence is really palpable, especially when you sing her music. And I feel like that truly every time I sing music of Debbie's, I feel her presence now. And it's so beautiful to watch Elana fall into what she's supposed to be doing, and to kind of feel Debbie's presence while that's happening. You know, it's so sad that she didn't really get to see you do this work, because she would have just
So proud of you.
exploded. But I feel her presence, especially in Elana. I think that I see like a real thread between the two of them, musically and spiritually, that not only were they actually friends and close in real life, and Debbie was a mentor to Elana, but Debbie was someone who wrote music that had never been done before. She was the first person to bring English music, and she was like a heretic for that. People completely like laughed her out of the room for bringing in English, and she was the first person to bring in folk music into the Jewish world, and she really just created a new sound that people, some people really turned away from, but eventually became our sound. It's really like her music is so embedded in the sound of the Jewish people now, I think, of all types of Jews. And I see that in Elana too. I see Elana writing music and this voice, this creative spiritual voice that has never existed before, but it also has this feeling of ancientness and of something that has been around forever. And it's beautiful to see the connection between the two of them. So I guess my influence is you, Elana.
Aww, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. You know, I'm practicing accepting compliments because it's very difficult for me. So I'm
maybe
sometimes
talk about
looking away while she's talking. But Julia's sister Leah, the other day, we were talking, and we were talking about that, and she said, I was told you're supposed to say, you take a breath, and you're like, thank you, you made my day. That's true though.
Did I make your day?
You did. You made my day. You did.
It's sweet.
It's like embarrassing. You know what I mean?
But it's true.
It's beautiful how much you admire and love each other. It's beautiful.
We do. That's true. Very lucky in that way.
Good partnership. Good partnership.
Good partnership.
Thanks, Tali.
Yeah.
I want to call you Tali because that's what
Well,
I grew
yeah.
up calling
I mean,
you. Is that allowed?
People call, like half the people in my life call me Tali, from like pre-college, before college, and then after college. I got to Juilliard, and my name was written out as my full name, Talya, on the roll call. Every morning they're like Talya, and I kind of felt like I was entering college.
You're the new you.
It's my new me, and it sounds like this fingery kind of, like more professional sounding.
It is.
But when everybody calls me Tali, it feels more like my inner child, my inner me.
Like home, right?
Like home. So when you call me Tali, I actually really love it. So you can call me Tali all the time.
That's good. I feel like I want to call you Tali forever, or
Yeah.
Tals. Talia is a beautiful name, though. We love that name.
Oh, thanks. I love all the names in your family. You guys chose really beautiful names for your girls, Maya and Acadia. Those are beautiful names.
Thanks, Tali.
Yeah. So
Who are your influences?
Indeed.
Tell us about that.
there's a lot. So spiritually, I have to say that my mom has definitely been the biggest spiritual influence on my life. I mean, she's very connected to her Judaism and her faith, and she created an environment growing up where we were having Shabbat every week and kept a kosher home. And I really felt there was another energy that entered my house when it became Shabbat, when we lit the candles. And it was like, I just felt very connected. And she really was the person who helped me to feel that. And just holidays were just on a whole different spiritual level. Life just shifted when those holidays entered our house. She really created that for our family. And so I think my path to becoming a cantor and becoming a spiritual leader, cantorial soloist, I felt really like she has had a huge influence on me for,
That's
becoming.
beautiful.
I really see that. I love your mom, and that experience that you're describing, I've experienced at your house, and it's beautiful. And you're so right that your mom kind of brought that presence into the house,
with warmth and love. It was never something that she was, it was just all so much love, and just feeling her connection to God and her connection just to Judaism and to our culture and to customs. And I think she had that feeling since she was a very small child. She said she always felt very connected, even when she was little, and she wasn't even brought up in a house that was very connected, but she found it on her own. She went to Jewish day school, and she was the one that wanted to learn more and wanted to she just did it herself her whole life. She was kind of like, it was her path, and she always
That's
just
amazing.
pursued it. Yeah,
That's a gift to get.
it's such a gift to have such a faith and such a spiritual connection. It's really, yeah. So she influenced me in that way, and I mean, there's so many musicians in my life that have influenced me. Like you said, like growing up, I listened to so many different musicians in my house and artists. My parents would play everything from opera to folk music to jazz to everything. And so I would have like favorites in all different genres. Like I loved listening to Ella Fitzgerald, growing up in my house. We listened to Barbara Bonney and Kathleen Battle. Those are people that I would aspire to be, and singers that I also loved. Oh, growing up, like very young, who my favorite singer was growing up? Whitney Houston. She was like, I wanna belt out like that.
Honestly, like
there's nobody better than Whitney.
Whitney Houston's the absolute greatest.
We listen to
Right?
Whitney when we want to feel like inspired and powerful.
There's that like recording of her singing the national anthem at a Super Bowl with the marching
Oh my
band.
God. Could you just?
I could literally watch that every day.
We should watch that every day.
So uplifting.
So uplifting.
I mean, I don't think it's that great a song. It's not like she's
No,
dealing with
it's
such
just
a great
that
song.
great of a Whitney.
The pipes that she had and the power behind that.
The power. Woo. Yeah.
She was
Whitney
singing in her church choir. She was also into the spirit, so she
You
was
can feel the
connected.
spirit. That's true.
Totally.
A
And
lot
there's
of
also,
the best. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say Joni Mitchell, and you mentioned I've always been a huge Joni Mitchell fan.
Yeah,
And Joan
incredible.
Baez and all of those folk singers. I've had a lot of different, and then going to Juilliard and studying classical voice and taking music history and learning about all the different composers from early Renaissance all the way through Romantic and modern. It's just learning from so many different composers and being inspired by different styles and of music. It's been, you take from everything that you're exposed to.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I definitely hear Whitney influences in your voice.
Mm.
And I mean, people who are watching probably already know your voice, but Talya has just one of the most beautiful, beautiful voices. And you've got some Whitney chops.
Ooh, girl.
I wouldn't say I'm Whitney. No way. No, it's just.
If you ever need like a little back of the book blurb,
Thank you
use that one.
for the compliment.
You made my day.
You made my day.
My day. Oh. So yeah,
How's it been for you with your kids at home and working?
how's it been? It's been challenging. It's been, it's been two things. I see it in two ways. It's one, I am able to have so much quality time with them and bond with them and connect with them, and I feel grateful for this time, like that I really get to see them and help them form and shape them into who they are. I really feel like this is a gift in some ways because otherwise they'd be in school and with a nanny, and I wouldn't have as much of an impact, and also the close bonding connection that I have with them. So I see that as a really precious thing. But also, when you have deadlines and you have all these expectations on you for work and other things, it's so hard, and your partner is working all day full time. It's such a hard thing to figure out how to balance without any help. It's really hard. So it's been stressful, intense. There's definitely been, feelings of anxiety, like, am I going to get my stuff done? And feeling anxiety about the world, and are we ever going to get over and through this whole mess, right? This chaos. And also being aware of the anxiety and all of that, and not wanting to give it to my kids and not wanting to transfer it, having that awareness, which I think yoga and meditation helps with. It helps with just taking breaths and being really aware of what's happening in your body and your mind, and not putting that on your children. It's a very hard thing to do, and I work on that. I'm trying to find that peace inside, and not having them feel any of my,
It's so hard.
rest with the situation. But it's not a relaxing situation.
It is absolutely not relaxing. I think there's something kind of feels impossible sometimes. But I agree with you. Yoga and meditation helps so much. I'm so grateful for those things. And for music, like the times that we've been able to sing together or apart, well, actually in this house together.
Yeah, just in different rooms.
Just in different rooms. It's so grounding. Like I always feel better. I just always feel better after singing.
I know it's really a form of healing, singing, and just the opening of your whole throat and chest, and the breath has to happen, and everything is just such a release. And I actually tell people who can't sing well, or they are ashamed of singing, to sing, because it's so important to just have that ability to release emotion through voice and through music. It's so important.
That's so true.
Yeah. And so you have a background in yoga, right? And you took a yoga training.
I did my yoga teacher training. I'm a certified yoga teacher. I really did that because, well, in part because I needed it in my own life, and I do think it makes me a better cantor and a better mom and a better wife. You can attest to that.
Yeah,
but you don't have to.
I don't know what you're like without it, but I think
that's true.
Yeah.
Elana, is it something you gravitate to, or not so much, not your thing?
I definitely have been working for the last couple years with meditation, and I feel like that's definitely important to me. It definitely doesn't come naturally to me, so I have to work pretty hard. But I do think that particularly now, I mean, when the stress is higher, and like you said, the juggling seems impossible sometimes, and Julia and I we work in in overlapping fields, which means that on a Friday night, for example, we both may need to lead services. We're in the same house, we have one setup, we have 2 children.
Yeah.
Those are not good numbers.
Doesn't seem, the math of that is not good, So there's a lot of that kind of quick tag team, whatever craziness, or what you saw at the beginning of the interview, where it's just well, I guess the baby is coming into the interview,
Yeah, what you didn't see is 5 minutes before the interview, she was covered in food.
Right.
Neither of us were dressed.
Right. So I mean, I think that I think particularly now, when the pressure is what it is, and the pace is what it is, and the demands just feel so big and heavy sometimes, I have felt definitely grateful that I even started to have a meditation practice at all before the pandemic, because I think that anything, like you're saying, I mean, singing for sure is like that for me. Playing also, I'm an instrumentalist, playing also does that for me. I think there's a meditative spirit to kind of taking your mind and your attention and your awareness to something really not here, something else that's a different realm, is really helpful. So I find those meditative, and then yeah, I think even just grabbing a few minutes, really makes a big difference for me in terms of just how much I can sort of take on, and like Julia said, just to be as present a parent as I can be, as present a partner as I can be, as whole an artist as I can be. All of those pieces are just helped by anything that can kind of ground us down, and I think for me that helps a lot.
That's great.
And then some days it's just about keeping everyone alive,
surviving, right?
Yeah, keeping everyone alive is that's
a good day.
It's a good day. Everyone is alive. We're okay.
Yeah.
Did she? I'm did you feed her this? She's yeah. Did you feed her that? That one? This one? Did she bathe? Okay, great.
Right. Vitamins. They the
so we're
right?
good.
Yeah.
There definitely is. The bar is low right now, I would say.
Yeah. For sure.
But we need those spiritual practices to even just get through on the low bar days.
That's right.
Definitely, I agree.
And I think what you said, Talya, about how our approaches to this time transfer or don't transfer to our kids is also really powerful. I think that certainly Maya, our older daughter, has grown up in our house with Julia doing yoga every day, and seeing meditation and mindfulness as part of life. Mm-hmm. It does not mean that she is mindful all the time or that she doesn't have tantrums. She does. But there is a way in which sort of seeing that in practice as part of a way that we take care of each other and take care of ourselves has translated into what some of the ways that she knows how to calm herself down. Yeah. And I think that that's a really, I think the goal of not being stressed around your kids is kind of impossible, but the goal of sort of helping to bring some of the practices to them and help
cultivate tools.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, because I'm saying that as much for myself as anything else. I think that it's really hard in this time to not be ooh, I really should have been a little more patient with that one when she asked for this, or because the pressure is high. Yeah. But it's nice to have some things to do together that can keep everybody sort of level.
Even with my 2-year-old, I'm smell the roses and blow out the candle, and
That's
just
right.
just having visual things for them to start being aware of their breath and how that could be a calming tool for them.
Right. To experience it in your body, I think it's the easiest thing for a kid to do, actually, is to feel what that feels like and how they feel better.
Yeah. But so I have to get over the guilt that I have of screen time, because I've been using that a lot during the course of these months just to be able to get stuff done. And they both love TV, and TV is a very coveted thing. So it really does work when I need it. But you know, it's the am I damaging them from too much screen? And you know, it's all the worry that.
No, you know what? They're going to come out of this time and they're going to know that they were loved. They're going to know that they were cared for. They're going to know that they got to be with you way more than they did before. And I think our kids are going to be better for that. I mean, maybe that's an overly optimistic view, but anyway, that was just a long way to say you shouldn't feel guilty about screen time.
Oh, yeah, I'm working on letting it go.
Got to. You know why? Also, I feel like this time, I mean, we're all going to have work to do. Every parent is going to have work to do. When God willing, life goes back to normal, we have to establish new routines. Right. It's going to be a long time that they haven't had their normal stuff. You know, I think about how long it takes our older daughter to get ready, like to get dressed and stuff in the morning now. It's like, we don't push her because we're not going to school. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, we're going to have to do that again when it's time. And like, I just think this time is set apart as a parent, and like whatever it takes, honestly, it's a lot we're being asked to do. Yeah. And
it's true. That's a good attitude.
And together is a gift. I agree with that.
Togetherness, for sure. Yeah. So I'd love to hear some more music before we go, because I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I'd love for you to share one more thing with us, and maybe something that Debbie Friedman, or no, not Debbie Friedman, something that you, because she inspired you, but something that you wrote that's an original song. Because
we can sing this together, this is my own setting of Oseh Shalom, the same text of the piece that we started with of Debbie's. And if you're a composer that sets Jewish liturgy or prayer, almost everybody takes a swat at Oseh Shalom, and I think part of that is because of how foundational this idea and this sort of aspiration is in Judaism. That traditionally, you know, we say these words: "May the one who makes peace above bring peace here on earth," like many times a day. It's part of the liturgy all through the day, and there's something very sort of insistent in how it's very Jewish to sort of say, like, let's sing it again. Let's sing it a little louder. Let's say it later. Let's keep going. Maybe this time, you know, the sort of acknowledgement that we need peace now. We have always needed peace. We will always need peace. There will always be places that are broken that could be made whole, and that it's sort of the eternal wish of all of us. So we can sing this together, right?
I love this version of Oseh Shalom. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Oseh Shalom b'Ramav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Oseh Shalom. Shalom, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al kol, say Amen.
Beautiful. Oh, I got the shivers and the chills for that. That was beautiful. And I was thinking again how lucky Acadia and Maya are to have so much music in their lives growing up with you guys.
We feel lucky too. Yeah. It's been so fun to be with you, Talya. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course.
my third guests, and you're just such wonderful, wonderful people, beautiful souls, beautiful artists and musicians, beautiful spiritual leaders, and just really lucky to experience this time with you and to know you and to be friends. And I'm just very grateful. So thank you.
Us too. Thank you so much. And we'll look forward to watching the next episodes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, tune in for every Wednesday at 6 or maybe 6:10. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
6:05, 6-ish.
6-ish, exactly.
As long as the technology is working for us, we're good.
That's right. The stars align.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
We love you. Thanks for having
Love your music. Keep sharing with the world, both of you.
You too.
Giving us a lot of light and love.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, Talya.
Stay well.
Be well too. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys for tuning in with Talya. And I cannot wait for next week. We're going to have a lot of wonderful artists on. It's going to be, I think, 12 of us on there. And we'll be schmoozing just about what life is like during this time and all wonderful artists. So stay tuned. There'll be a flyer coming out about who's coming on the show. And so enjoy sharing this time with you all. So take care, be well, and tune in next week.